Hey, this is John, and I'm sure you've heard this saying that we are creatures of habits. Now, habits are your brain's way to make anything that you have thought or felt or have done automatic so you don't have to think about it. Your brain's an energy conservation machine, and it wants to do as little work as possible to achieve as much as possible. And so it develops habits in order for you not to use up the brain power that your brain is trying to conserve, since it's an energy conservation machine. 25% of all of your calories are used up by your brain. And so why am I talking to you about habits? I'm talking to you about habits because fear is a habit. Fear, left unchecked, becomes automatic. And since habits are created by triggers, whether it's something external that causes a trigger to happen, or something you think about that causes a trigger to happen, every trigger follows a behavior, and every behavior follows a reward. That is called the habit loop. So there's a trigger, a behavior, and a reward. And so what does that have to do with fear? Well, it has everything to do with fear, because chances are that you didn't just get a new fear yesterday that's holding you back today from taking action. You've probably had fears for 5, 10, 20, 30 years that you're either consciously or unconsciously in the habit, the automatic pattern of repeating them over and over and over and over again. And the good news is your system is working great. The challenging news is that it may not be serving you because it's not helping you take the actions you need in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So I want to teach you something called the power of tiny habits. And I want you to do this. I want you to write down one of your fears, or pull it from the list, from the manual, okay, that you've used in the past. One fear. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down one small action, one small, teeny weeny action that you can take to move you away from the fear you have and towards what you do want. And so, for example, I'll give you just a silly thought. Let's say you have a fear of meeting new people, okay? What I want you to do is go to a juice bar or a tea bar or a coffee bar and order yourself, okay, a tea or a coffee or a juice. And then your only little habit, tiny habit that you need to take for 1 week is just make eye contact with one person and smile. Nothing else. Now, I know that might sound like, oh my God, I can't do that, but here's the logic and the emotion behind it. When you move away from what you don't want to do, and you take a tiny little action step towards what you want to do, you start to shatter the references and the neurological patterns you have in your brain around not being able to take an action. And if we can help you for 1 week, just take one little action, just make eye contact and a smile with one person, and you do that for a week, you start to lower, okay, the fear response in your brain and in your emotions and in your physiology and your body. And so the tiny habit process, I learned from a brilliant researcher at Stanford, Dr. B.J. Fogg, and that is one thing that you can do to move you towards what it is that you want to achieve. So write down whatever it is that you're afraid of, and then just come up with one tiny habit for the next week, and take that tiny habit and do it, and take that action, I should say, and do it for the next week. A little one. Then the following week, add one more little one to that. And you can choose what it is. And here's what happens. When you choose one little action that you can make into a new habit, it becomes normal and natural and automatic for you. And then you can stack little habits over little habits over little habits, and you can become a new person. Somebody who is taking action towards what they want while they release what they don't want. So, are you committed? Can you do it? Will you do it? I want you to practice the tiny little habit every day for the next week, then one more habit the following week, and I want you to share the experience in the community. All right? Tiny little habits are the way we build big habits. So start that today and let me know how that goes in the community, and I'll give you some more tips and ideas in the community to develop more tiny little habits that become big muscles and habits that'll help you achieve your goals and dreams.